Do you want to take advantage of the most potent workforce available to you as a business owner? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you how to run your business the millennial way and unlock the power and productivity of running your business with millennials. If you're new to this channel, my name is Pete Moriarty, and we help business owners all over the world get their systems, technology, and people organized so they can play a bigger game. Now, we've worked with literally tens of thousands of business owners and employees all over the world to help them get their tech organized, and we're looking forward to sharing all of that knowledge with you on this channel and through our businesses that are part of this channel as well. Now, this video is all about how to run your business the millennial way. And myself, I'm currently 33 years old. I started my business when I was about 20. And the average age of employees across our business, of which we've got more than 60 employees across the group, is actually around about 30 years old. And so we've got quite a young workforce. Yet we are a successful business. We're fast growing. We have millions and millions of dollars in revenue, lots of profit, and we compete with the big guys in our industry, even though the average age of employees in most of our competitors will probably be 10 or even 15 years older than us. So how do we do it? I'm going to share some of the secrets in how we run our business and some of the ways that we approach business as millennials, both inside the business and also as executives running the business. First up, it's most important that your business is mission, vision, and values driven. Now, millennials, we have got the beautiful gift of being self-actualized, and there's plenty of videos on how to manage and how to lead and how to look after millennials and actually motivate them in your business that Simon Sinek has done a great job of. But it can't be missed that a business needs to actually have a mission and a vision that is aligned to those that you want to attract to the business. Now, for business owners, it's important to know what actually motivates and what's actually going to get your team excited about working in your business. And I recently recorded another video on the top 4 motivators for employees, with number 4 actually being how much they're being paid. And so it's really important for your team and for you as a leader of the business to ensure that you're really clear about what your mission and vision is in the business, because you are going to attract those who are attracted to the mission and the vision. Now, it can't just be something that you put up on the wall. In the past, values would be posters like integrity and hard work. That kind of doesn't work. That 90s version of doing values doesn't really work. And also, I think we're probably coming out of the era of the startup hustle grind, work till you die, 20 hours a day. I don't think that's really, positive anymore for businesses. Now, maybe still in the Silicon Valley tech scene, there's still businesses that will have that kind of hustle and that kind of vibe. But for most businesses, at least those that we consult, they're business owners who are not looking to be the next unicorn, but are at least looking to run a productive team and have a successful business. And so what's going to be really useful for you is to really know, what is the purpose of your business? What is the mission? What is the vision? And really clearly articulate that, but also share that with your team. And here's the magic, get your team involved in this process as well. Now, when we say get the team involved in the process, it's really important to invite your team in to be a part and to actually have a voice of how you're developing, where the business is going to go, what the mission is, and what the vision is. Now, your team are probably not going to be interested in writing that vision. They're probably not going to be interested in being the sole person responsible for that vision, but they probably do want to have some input in actually collaborating in what it actually looks like. And so for me as the visionary, that's my job as the founder, as the CEO. I'm no longer the CEO of our business, but I am still the founder. It's my important job role, it's my title, to make sure that I've actually set the vision and set the mission of where the business is going. And so bring your team into that process as well. Next up, let's talk about age. And I already shared that our team are on average around 28, 30 years old, those that we hire. Now, we are in the tech industry. There's plenty of people who go through high school, do a computer science degree these days, and will want to get their role somewhere in the tech or the IT industry. And so we welcome them with open arms into our business. And we tend to find that those that we hire, obviously you can't discriminate based on age. We tend to find that those that we hire are in the millennial and the younger age group. And that works really great for us because Gen Y and millennials broadly are really savvy, not only when it comes to tech, but when it comes to tools, when it comes to collaboration, and when it comes to the way that they work. Now, myself personally, I grew up with a mobile phone when I was in high school. I grew up with computers even when I was in primary school. And so doing things on the internet, doing things online, working with technology is a natural way for me. Whereas for many of our customers, they tend to be either in the Gen X or even the baby boomer age bracket segments, and those demographics had to learn tech. They didn't go through school and have tech. My father's generation actually had, like slates that they would draw on in high school. And so there's a big difference between someone who had to learn and adopt tech and someone who naturally grew up with it literally as their personality was forming. And so it's really natural for a tech-savvy millennial to just be one with technology. And so when you're doing things like, rolling out a new technology platform, when you're going through change management, you'll find that millennials are much more adaptable to change. And so that makes it pretty easy for you if you're running the business. So my advice there is to err on the side of hiring a younger team where possible, especially if you have technology-enabled business. Okay, let's talk about the next one. Radical candor. Super important. Now, this is like a fancy word for, being honest and actually sharing exactly what's going on. But radical candor, I believe, not only applies to just one-on-ones and HR and, personnel performance management. We believe in this right across the business. And so what that means is actually fostering a culture where things are not hidden. And so for us, that means sharing what the financial results are of the business. That means sharing whether we're doing great or not so great this quarter or this year. It means actually letting the team know, when executives are feeling good about things or, when maybe they're a little bit low on motivation or running out of a little bit of steam. Obviously you don't want to come to work and say, oh my God, I'm really stressed. I'm really worried we might not have enough to pay wages next week. That's probably not the kind of thing that's going to go down really great with the team. But what is important is to be honest about what's going on. In the old ways of doing business, and I've only had one real job before when I was 19, working for another business owner, when nothing was disclosed to me as an employee and, all of the numbers were just basically hidden. I had no idea about how the business was going. And so there was always that kind of like lingering fear of, well, I don't know what I don't know. But also I didn't feel like I was connected to the success of the business. And it's really important to me as a millennial to feel connected to where the business is going, to where the organization is going that I'm a part of. And so if I actually have transparency and I can actually see where things are going, not only does it give me the safety and the comfort that I know if things are good or bad, it's like, hey, it's good to get the truth no matter what the story is. But also I feel more motivated to actually contribute to that. And so for our team, we really love sharing everything that's going on with the business in a candid way, because what that allows is for the team to feel like they are involved in actually helping solve the challenges of the business. They're involved in helping to make sure the business reaches its goals. They're involved in bringing in more revenue for the business, which creates more success, and then will filter down to everyone through increased pay, career opportunities, business growth, and the rest. Okay, so next up is a tip for young leaders. And, I started hiring my first employees when I was 20 years old, hired and let go of as well hundreds of employees across my business career over more than 10 years of running itGenius. Now, what I found for me personally, as I was in my 20s and a young manager, I found that there was about a limit of 10 years, either older or younger from me, that I would be able to effectively manage and connect with someone on a cultural level. I found that if I'd hired someone who was more than 10 years older than me, the generation gap would just be too wide for me to be able to relate and work with them. Now, obviously, you're unable to discriminate based on someone's age when you're looking to hire. But for someone who is a newer leader or a newer manager, this might be a metric that you want to keep tabs on. And so it might be important to you if you're finding your feet with learning to manage new teams, that you look for those who will actually match your age group in some way. Now, that's not to say that there is an amazing talent, outside of age groups that are within 10 years of your age. And so it may be a need to kind of bridge or have someone who kind of like sits in between you and someone who's that, more than 10 years gap. And that may able to be helped to bridge the gap and be able to still have those in your organization who are at a wider age gap to you. Now, if you are someone who is in the senior position and you've got someone who's more than 10 years younger than you, well, have a think about how you may find someone to bridge the gap and not distance yourself from someone who's further than 10 years apart from you, but ensure that you have, let's say, a cultural bridge so you're more likely to be able to work well together.